Welcome back to Wine and Dine, the show about great food, great wine, and entertaining. I'm your host, Mark DeWolf. So in this tasty edition brought to you by the SaltWire Network, we're getting set for the holidays. And one thing I love to start a holiday meal off with is soup. It's such an appropriate time of year to have something warming, comforting. And while the turkey is resting and the vegetables are just finishing their last bit of roasting or boiling, however you prepare them, it's great to get guests to sit at the table, serve them something warming and something that they can just kind of satiate their hunger while the rest of the meal is just being finished. So, I'm making a couple soups here. One that's going to be vegan, so we're going to make a creamless cream of mushroom soup using coconut milk to substitute for the cream, and the milk typically gone into a cream of mushroom soup. And then we're going to make another one that can be vegetarian or not vegetarian, depending on your preference. So I'm going to make a kind of a rich roasted squash soup with lots of onion and garlic. And we're going to top that off with some crumbled cheese and bacon if you like. So what do we need to make the mushroom soup? Well, of course, you need about 1.5 pounds of mixed mushrooms. So whatever you can find available to you at your local farmer's market or grocery store. We're going to start it off with some vegan butter, so a non-dairy butter to keep it vegan. We're going to use some flour to kind of thicken it up and enrich it. And then we're going to use some garlic that we've minced, an onion. We've got a bit of vegetable stock, can of coconut milk, a little salt and pepper, and then we're done. For the soup, the butternut squash soup, obviously butternut squash, no surprise there. Again, we're going to just chop that up, put it on a baking sheet with some roughly chopped onion, a whole bulb of garlic that we are wrapping in tin foil and roasting along with the squash, and then just some chicken stock. It's not much more you need. You're just going to finish it off with a little bit of goat cheese, some crispy bacon, and we're going to make some homemade croutons, which is essentially some two-day-old baguette we've toasted, rubbed with garlic, and drizzled with olive oil. That's it. So I'm going to make it in this great pan that I got from President's Choice. It's like they call it an everything pan, which for me is a great idea. I love one pot cooking. So we're going to try that. And while we were there, I picked up a couple things that you could give as Christmas gifts too. This great French press. And for those of you that just like drinking wine and enjoying wine without overcomplicating it, some stemless wine glasses. So come right back and we're going to prepare some soups for the holidays. Okay, so we're back and let's go make some soup. So let's start with the roast squash. Basically, I've got my diced squash. I've got some roughly chopped onion, just in quarters or six, a whole bulb of garlic, and I've just kind of cut off the top. I'm going to just drizzle that with a few tablespoons of olive oil. It's already been seasoned with salt and pepper. That goes in the oven, so 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes. So while that's roasting, let's make some mushroom soup. So how to do it? Let's take about a tablespoon of our vegan butter. Then we're going to add our diced onions. So we want that to kind of sweat out, let those onions become sweet, loose, let that kind of butter enrich the onion. And that's going to sweat out. So once the onion is sweated out, then we're going to add our garlic and go to the next steps. So our onions are soft and translucent. Now we're just going to add the garlic. So just about a clove or two of garlic. That's just going to add some fragrance. If you want to add a little spiciness, you can add some chilies. We can add them in whole because I just want a subtle heat. So I'll remove those later. And then add in our mushrooms. So into the pan goes all our mushrooms. We're just going to let that kind of sweat out. Once the mushrooms start releasing their liquid, I'm going to add some more butter, a little flour to enrich it, and then some other ingredients. So we'll be right back. Okay, so our mushrooms have kind of sweated off, released some of their liquid. We're going to add in a few more tablespoons of butter. And then to enrich it, a little bit of flour. So again, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to make basically, that's going to help make a roux. So we want to cook the flour so it's not raw, but, and this will help us thicken it up. So once that roux is made, we start to get a little bit of thickening going with that. All we have to do is add our coconut milk. This is just 1 can. This is just a substitute from the normal cream. I'm going to add a few sprigs of thyme in there just to give it some extra seasoning. A few cups of our vegetable stock. We'll bring that to a quick boil, then reduce it down to a simmer, 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Once you've achieved your desired consistency, you'll have a creamless cream of mushroom soup. So, come right back and we'll finish off the squash. Okay, so we're back. We've got our mushroom soup made. We've got our roasted squash with this kind of caramelized rustic onions. We've got our garlic that's been roasted in the skin. All we have to do now is add all this to our pot. So, sorry, to our blender. You know, this is such an easy soup to make. You know, it takes about 5 minutes to do the prep work. And then you can go have a glass of wine, have a beer, you know, just relax with the kids or the family. And then all you're gonna do is blend it up. So I've got my squash in there. Now I'm just adding the roasted garlic straight out of the bulb. This is gonna add so much great flavor. Then, stock. This is about 900 milliliters, close to a liter of stock. So again, vegetable if you're a vegetarian. Chicken stock will just add a little more flavor if you can have it. We're gonna pop this on, blend it up, and then we have soup is made. So anyway, come back, we'll have a little closing statement and closing talk, and we'll get the soups ready. Okay, so our soups are made. We got that gorgeous creamless cream of mushroom soup that was using the coconut milk as a substitute. Just make sure you season it with a little salt and pepper at the end. If you want to cut the sweetness of the coconut milk, maybe just do a little squeeze of lime juice. Other than that, a little thyme on top, you're done. Then we have this beautiful, vibrant orange roast squash soup. So traditional. The untraditional parts, we're gonna garnish it with a couple little croutons, a little bit of goat cheese, you know, add as little or as much as you like. A little bacon, because bacon makes it all better. And there you have a wonderful appetizer for a holiday dinner, or actually you could just have it anytime. So what's left to do? Well, I'm gonna have a little bit of this mushroom soup. So good. We'll see you next time on Wine and Dine.